Okay, so I just select this one and run it. So if you check TRTP, and so I'm just creating, the variables like you see here, the reference and test and the 2, 1, and the TRT, which is the actual, there is something is missing here. The actual test and the number for the actual, because I'm just combining, okay? I'm combining as a TRTP, and so in the ADSL level is different, okay? When you check in the ADSL level, so we have created one record per subject, right? We have separated, we have segregated from the DM dataset. So here we are combining because this is a different data structure, BDS is a different data structure, and we need this information for your mark shells, okay, for creating the treatment period end. So for that reason, I'm just combining the both, the planned one, for the sequence into the planned one, and the actual one into the actual related treatment. Okay, that's the difference. So thereafter, so this is the partial date. If it is greater than or equal to 10, then you put the analysis date would be the substate of only the date part, because this is this is in the LBDTC is in the character format. That's why I use substate, and I'm keeping in the YYMMDD format because I need to do the the duration. Oh, I haven't done the duration. Okay, anyway, so if it is greater than or equal to 19, this is related to more than date and time. Okay, this is the length for the 19 date and time. Then analysis date time would be you have to mention the ISO 8601 DT dot. Okay, because these are not extra variables. Okay, these are not mentioned here in the specification, but I'm just explaining as extra for this topic. So then you, after that you have you apply the date format, date time 20 dot for analysis date and time. And if it is analysis aval not equal to missing, then analysis 01 flag equal to yes. Okay, so this is also very important in the interview prospect, analysis flag. Okay. Basically, if you have a multiple records, records for subject, okay. So we need to consider one record for analysis purpose, okay. So one record for analysis purpose, and we take which is closest and nearest to our target value, okay. Target value. That record would be applicable for like that record. You should have to keep it as NL01 flag equal to yes. So if you are using multiple records, like if you are taking, like for example, one subject, if you are taking 2 records, then you put the next one like analysis 02 FL equal to 1. Okay, and this is the definition you have to note down in case if they ask you what is analysis 01, analysis flag. And this is also extra variables. It's not mentioned in the specification, and these are also mentioned. So for A period, if it is visit in 01, which means the screening and the period 1, that would be the A period analysis period equal to period 1, and the character is a period 1, and then and the numeric is we give it as 1. And if it is greater than or equal to 2, which is the period 2, okay, then we have given the period 2, and the analysis period equal to, for the numeric is 2, we have mentioned this one. Then after analysis range indicator, which is directly mapped to the laboratory range indicator. Okay, so you see here in the analysis, so this one. So we directly map to the analysis for range indicator. Okay. So if analysis range indicator is less low, then we give as 1, because we sometimes we also need some tables to create for a shift, I mean not for the shift, for the, if it is the result is normal or high, we need to show it as a report. So for that reason, for sorting purpose, we need to create the numeric format. Okay, if it is normal, then 2, if it is high, 3, and abnormal is 4. So these are extra variables, but it might be help you, in case if you're doing like in the real time, if you're doing the treatment related information. Yeah, that is, I feel like strange why is not mentioned the treatment related information, because in the table we have to do the treatment. Okay, in the table level we need this treatment, but in the specification they haven't mentioned anything. But anyway, it is there, so you understand, right? It's up to here. So then you just copy to the ADLB. Okay, and whatever the variables as per the specification we have created extras, so those variables you create your attributes. Okay, okay, so then you sorry, run this one. Okay, so we have created ADLB. So we have created our analysis range indicator and the A period, A periods, ADTM. Why is this one is missing? Yes. Okay, there are no errors, but I'm not sure why this one is ADTM is missing. So this part is missing. This is the laboratory data collection, LBDTC. Okay. Let me check the LBDTC. Okay, LBDTC is only in the date format only, so there is no time format because we have applied the date time 20 dot. Maybe perhaps that's the reason it's coming missing there. Maybe we can remove this one. Okay, so okay, let me check if I have this one. No, it's still missing. Okay, anyway, we're gonna check. Okay, do you have any questions so far to today's class and the previous classes? If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, we can discuss.
Ali, I mean, there's so much to intake today, but general question is like normally when we based on the specification, whatever we get, we'll start making the tables, right? So as you said, normally they should give detailed information on how we exactly derive derive the variable, right?
Yeah, in the programming notes they will be mentioned. In case if there is no derivation in the SAP, you can go and have a look in the SAP. Also, they have mentioned the derivations for, especially for the data imputations and visit window. The flags to derive. So they mentioned the derivations of all minus space and LB So if you have something you're not understanding, you can ask directly. It's not that much because it's not clearly instructed in the specification.
No,
Could you please give?
because as you said, you are telling, you are explaining like 4 data sets. So
Mhm.
yeah, maybe we'll try to by heart all these or something. But as you
No,
said,
you don't need to by heart. You just understand the concept, okay? So in the real time, for aval for the base, you directly map to the aval only. So in the real time, also the same thing. You never need to by heart. This is one kind of dynamic. You can change your coding, your own coding also. You can instead of first parent that, and you can use other things. Some other techniques. To do the data step. Um, so these are also direct mappings. You see, these are all from the specification directly map this one. So aval is obviously this is analysis value. The name itself analysis value, which is the your standardized result in the numeric format. Um, so it's going to be the same thing in the real time also. So there is not that much difference.
yeah,
You
I
can
mean
also
the
use the same code and they can apply there also.
I mean the only not problem, the only big thing what 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 I find is like when, as you said, like there'll be so many data sets that we have to create, and there'll be so many variables, right?
For Adam.
Yeah, for Adam, yeah. So
Okay.
how do we know now all the formulas what we have used or
For
something
Adam,
to
listen, for
derive the
Adam,
variables?
listen, ADSL, okay, ADAE, ADCM, ADMH, ADVS, ADLB, okay, then ADEX, okay. Um, so some other efficacy, efficacy one like ADRS, ADTTE. So yes, so if you know these, how many? 7, okay. So 7 of them, okay. If you know this 7, it is common for every clinical study and it would be considered almost 70%.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's what I'm saying now.
Mm.
Now, as you told, for for one of these data sets, you said there will be more than 50 or 60 variables, right? But what we saw is like only 20 to 30 variables. So, um, how do, like what is the way that we know?
So implementation guidelines, because so in interview, I remember I have faced many interviews, so I know what they ask. So these the data set, the whatever I have mentioned, the given variables, those should be enough for you to crack the interviews. In once you go there inside your company, and there you will, if you have any extra variable which you're not familiarized, there will be the derivation, there will be the programming part, and you can also refer to the Adam level also in the implementation guideline. You can see. For example, if you go, like for example, this is a subject, right? So you have all this site region,
Hmm.
this you won't see, okay? So A6, this is Adam level, I'm not talking in
Yeah,
HGTM. So you have, these are the extra variables. They may be like in they're different way to derive, but they will be mentioned in the program like FSSL. So we have mentioned safety population flag, right? Intended treatment population for in our clinical projects. So in the same thing in the SAP, they mentioned how to derive the per protocol for population flag, completion flag, and the randomized enrollment flag. How to derive this all given in the specification as well as in the SAP. You don't need to worry much about it. And the treatment, the 01, 01P actual, 01A actual related treatments.
So
So they all mention.
they'll give us SAP. So from basically from looking into SAP,
Yes,
I will
yes, yeah.
I know how to derive, so I'll derive. But now when it's coming to interview part,
Uh-huh.
like what variables, like I mean, how much should we practice or how much should we learn for interview purpose? Like,
Well, for my kind of experience, these should be enough, because in this only they will ask you, okay? They will ask you most of the question. For example, here in the ADLB part, they will ask you what are the categories in the LB laboratory data, and how do you derive the AVAL, what is the percentage change, and what is the change, what is analysis baseline flag. So these are the questions. What is the param? How do you derive the param, and what is param CD? So these kind of questions you will usually get from the what is the structure of the LB dataset, ADLB dataset. Um, so these related information, I mean, these kind of questions they will ask you mostly from the LB. And the VS also the same thing. Do you have any time points, and what time points you have time the 0 2 hours, the time points, and what is the study, what are the parameters you take in the vital signs, the height, weight, BMI, and the pulse rate. And the pulse rate, this is common, okay? Every vital signs will be the same thing. The pulse rate, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure. Those are the parameters you will be considered for your vital signs things. Okay, and the same thing, they will do the same thing. The what is our analysis value, and they won't go more than this one. Okay, and in the ADSL level, they will ask you the population flag. For example, here we have mentioned, right, safety population flag. So intended treatment population for, and the treatment, because it was one record per subject. So the treatment was divided, the ACTAM CD, ARM CD. There only they will ask you those questions.
okay,
If you are good enough, like one or two projects, I will separately send you the other project. You can practice that one. If you are good enough with these two projects, and it's going to be the same for everything. For all your project for the next one, and it is a base, right? It is not like expertise. You should have to be expertise. I'm not saying that you have to be expertise in everything. It's just for your understanding, okay? What is exactly is happening in the ADAM level, what is exactly happening in the HTM level. And the interview they will ask you, because you're not going to keep 8 years 10 years of experience, right? Because there is more kind of expertise. If you keep like 3 4 is nothing. You have to understand the variables and know how the implementation guidelines, and some derivation points, and population, those things that should be enough for consideration. um, it's not like they will directly ask you some kind of derivation. Here I'm talking about in Canada, okay, or USA, asking to derive that kind. They give the patch of code and asking for to know what is the output of this patch of code. So if you go in back home in India, so they will ask you most of the things, okay. That is a different thing. They in India they give you some kind of patch code, and they ask you to what is the output. They give the output, and how do you write the patch code, okay. They will ask you the same thing. They will find that thing. And here you mentioned, like, I start with headers, then I mentioned with the links, the macros, I mean the library links. Then what is it? They usually ask the same thing. What do you follow the ADAM level? How do you create the ADAM? So you copy all the variables from the LB, you copy for all the variables from ADSL required variables, then I merge, then I create the paramen, you go one step by step. You can explain to them based on the specification I derive. You don't need to say each and every variable to them, okay. Whatever you remember, you say like that, okay. So I remember in all the BDS data structures. So ADVS, ADLBS, you will be have param, you will be have param city, you will be have aval value, you will be have change, you will be have base, okay. And the partial date imputations for ADA, how I did, we just follow that one, that methodology. Like you have divided with the date, year, and you separate if it is treatment. Um, if it is the same year for the treatment, the start date of your first study dose, and as well as the AE start date will be the same. Then we do input it like this, okay. Then there is a flag for that one, and then these are the questions they will ask you. And if you tell like this, and they will be okay, they can, okay, for 4 years you have handled In 4 years, mostly they will ask you in SDTM level only. Okay, they would expect in ADAM also sometimes, it's not that much expertise, but in ADAM level you should have some awareness. Okay, and the tables and listings, they will ask you what are the procedure you will be using. Any other questions? Hello?
Yeah. No, I'm good, Ali.
Okay. So tomorrow we're gonna start with the tables, listing, and figures. Hopefully we would be conclude this next week for all those things. And if you have any doubts, just let me know in advance. And I prefer you practice. Okay, practice, and then only you can come up new kind of doubts and why this one is like that. Because I can tell you like this, and you are listening, and which is okay. But when you start practicing, then only you realize, okay, why we have did this one, why we have did that one. Okay, so when you practice only, you can easily remember. If you don't practice, not in,
Yeah.
uh, because the programming part is easily forget. So you always be practice, and I can give you extra code in case if you need required to have access
So
to more
ba-
things.
basically, Ali, like now, if I can do, I mean, if I can program making STTM datasets and ADAM datasets and NFT, is that enough for me to do the job?
Yes, this knowledge is enough for you to do the at least for 3-4 years of experience. I'm not telling you 8-10 years of experience. Okay, um, so your confident level should be more because you practice, right? You practice and you explaining them what is analysis state and what is an study day calculations. If you're explaining those ones and what are the findings domains, you check the classifications also, and what are the variables, timing variables, and what are the special purpose domain, intervention, concomitant medications, and so I can give you briefly for the concomitant medication and medical history tomorrow. Okay, so I give the brief introduction for those ones, and it should be enough. So we can easily to do the interview and give 1 or 2 interviews, and you can know what are the questions they're asking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see tomorrow then. Okay. I'm just concluding. Okay. I'm signing off. Okay. We'll see tomorrow.